It is the 1st of September 1939. Germany and the Soviet Union have launched their invasion of Poland. The Poles are caught completely off guard by this invasion, and they have scrambled whatever forces they can to meet them and fight them off in retaliation. The next day, Germany pushes ever closer to Warsaw, and the Polish capital is captured within a few hours. The day after that, Britain and France declare war on Germany. But what if this was not the case? What if on the 3rd of September 1939, Britain and France did not declare war on Germany in retaliation for their unexpected invasion? Today I will be discussing what if World War II never happened. So, it is now the middle of September 1939. Poland has been totally conquered by Germany and the Soviet Union. The Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact signed between the Germans and the Soviets ensures a 10-year-long ceasefire between the two nations. Of course, tensions are ever rising between the two nations as the ideologies of fascism and communism simply do not mix. Peace is not expected to last long. Britain and France declare that if war were to break out, they would stay neutral. The rest of Western Europe and the United States do the same. Without war in Europe, Germany continues just annexing its neighbouring nations, including Czechoslovakia, Austria, and eventually Belgium and the Netherlands. Britain continues its policy of appeasement towards the Germans. In other words, letting them take whatever they want, with only small threats to put them off. France just simply turns the other way, pays no attention at all. As an ally of Britain, they just think that doing whatever Britain says is probably the best way for Europe to survive the next few decades. So, as of the next couple of years, there is mostly peace throughout Europe. However, in round about late 1940, early 1941, tensions between the communists and the fascists rise even higher. Stalin sends communist saboteurs to Berlin to both gather intelligence and wreak havoc on the fascist armies. One group of saboteurs plants a bomb in the centre of the Reichstag. Later in the day, the building goes up in flames. The Reichstag has exploded, killing many members of the German General Staff. Hitler and the rest of the German government is infuriated by this action and in retaliation declares war on the Soviet Union. Stalin then returns the favour a couple of days later and declares war on Germany. The Russo-German War has begun. Stalin invades Germany early in 1941. As a twist of irony, Germany is caught totally off guard by a Russian invasion. Italy, seeing the threat of the Soviets, decides to join the Axis alliance, just as they would have done in our timeline. Then Japan, seeing a chance to also destroy the Soviets, joins the Axis a couple of days later. Just like in our timeline, Germany, Italy and Japan would have been in one alliance. However, this time, instead of fighting the Allied powers, they are all united to defeat the Soviet Union. So, fighting continues for another couple of years. The Soviets are, of course, determined to not give up an inch of ground. They send wave after wave of soldiers against the German machine guns. Berlin is almost reached by the Soviets in early 1942. However, with Italian support in the West, they are stalled from reaching the main gates of the city. However, the Soviets decide to call in bomber support, and with the help of Soviet fighters, tanks, bombers and infantry, they soon reach Berlin itself. However, without an Allied invasion in the West and still plenty of troops to spare, the Germans don't give up so easy. They send every available man they have to push the Soviets out of the city. Berlin is now under siege. The Soviets split their armed forces to take on the Italians in the south. Italy, of course, does not have a powerful economy or a powerful army. Their leader, Benito Mussolini, distracted by conquests in Africa, has completely ignored advice from his generals to divert troops to Europe. So, for the most part, odds are in the favour of the Soviets for defeating the Italians. Britain and France do not take a side. They just stay out of the conflict. They don't provide resources to any side. They just think that it's none of their business. The United States, of course, stays isolationist, as per their previous policy. So, with the war continuing, peace is not in sight anytime soon. It's now 1945. Unlike in our timeline where the war would have been over by now, we're still only in the middle of the conflict. Peace is nowhere near being reached yet. Japan has launched an invasion of the Soviet Union in the east. Germany is still supporting the besieged Berlin. Italy is being invaded by the Soviets. The war has gone nowhere so far. Now we skip forward another few years. It's now mid-1950. The Russo-German War is now near completion. The Soviets have begun a bombing campaign over Tokyo and have launched an invasion. Italy has surrendered after being completely overrun. Germany has lost Berlin and is close to surrender. Meanwhile, in Hitler's Berghof retreat, the German leader is assassinated when a bomb goes off in his house. The Imperial Japanese Emperor is also assassinated during one of the bombing campaigns over Tokyo. Mussolini is killed by Italian communists who show sympathies towards the Soviet cause. The war is now going badly for the Axis. It is late 1950. The Russo-German War is pretty much over. The Soviets have completely knocked out Japan and Italy. Germany only has a couple of cities left in its possession. Britain and France have tried pushing for peace by handing treaties out to both the Soviets and the Germans, but these were refused. The Americans are concerned by what is happening in Europe, but still do not decide to take action. Canada, as a British colony, also hands out a peace agreement to both the Germans and the Russians, but this only annoys them further and they reject them. In a couple of months, the German capital of Berlin is now just annexed into the Soviet Union. Germany has lost all of its cities. Germany has surrendered. The Russo-German War is over. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.